Groovy English podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Groovy English. I'm your host, Chloe.
And I'm Aiden. Groovy English is the podcast where we help you speak English naturally and confidently, no matter what situation you're in.
That's right. Today we're diving into something that we all struggle with from time to time. How to keep the conversation flowing in English.
Yep, nobody likes those awkward silences, right? So we've got 6 awesome tips that will help you continue a conversation smoothly, even when you feel like you're running out of things to say.
We're also going to do some fun role plays, share some practical skills, and of course, end with Emma's Corner for a vocab recap. Oh, and don't forget, we've got a free PDF with all the vocab and phrases from today's episode. Check the description for the link.
So let's get into it.
So let's kick things off with tip number 1. Ask engaging follow-up questions.
Yes, this is such an important skill. After someone answers your question, you don't want to just stop there. Follow-up questions are your secret weapon.
Exactly. Asking a follow-up question shows that you're genuinely interested in what they're saying, and it opens the door for the conversation to keep going.
For example, if someone tells you, "I went to the beach last weekend," you could follow up with something like, "What did you do there?"
And if they talk about a movie, you might ask, "What was your favorite scene?" Or, "What did you like most about it?" It keeps the conversation from feeling like an interrogation and more like a fun, flowing chat.
Yeah, asking questions about their feelings or opinions can make the conversation deeper. For instance, "How did that make you feel?" Or, "What was your favorite part?"
And asking for more details is always helpful, too. For example, "Can you tell me more about that?" Or, "How did that happen?" Now, let's try these out in a fun role play to see how they feel in action. Aiden, want to kick it off with me?
Absolutely, I'm in. Let's say we're chatting about weekend plans, and I'm nervous about speaking English. I'll start, and Chloe will ask me engaging follow-up questions. "I went to the beach last weekend.
Oh, nice. What did you do there?
I just relaxed and read a book.
Sounds perfect. What book were you reading?
It was a mystery novel."
Ooh, I love mysteries. Was it a new release?
See, by asking, "Was it a new release?" Chloe keeps the conversation flowing. She's asking a question that invites more details, which is exactly what you want to do in these situations.
Right, it keeps things interesting, and it makes the conversation feel natural, not forced.
Tip number 2 is share personal experiences.
This is another great way to keep a conversation going. When you share something personal, it shows that you're invested in the conversation.
It also makes the exchange feel more balanced. You're not just asking questions all the time, you're contributing to the conversation too.
The key is to make sure your personal experience is relevant. So, if someone talks about a trip they went on, you might say, "Oh, I went there last year."
Exactly. You can also be brief when sharing. You don't need to tell the whole story, just the highlights. Then you can let the other person respond and share their thoughts.
And don't forget to ask them about their own experiences afterward. That keeps the conversation flowing both ways.
Yes, that's key. A good way to keep the energy going is by saying something like, "Have you ever had a similar experience?" Let's try this out in a quick role play to make them stick.
I've started taking painting classes.
"Oh, cool. I used to do that too. I took a painting class a few years ago.
Really? How was it?
It was awesome. I painted landscapes, but I found it harder than I expected."
That's so interesting. What made it difficult for you?
The techniques were challenging, especially blending colors.
Notice how Aiden shared his personal experience. That gave me a chance to ask more questions, and we could both share our stories.
Yeah, sharing personal experiences really builds a deeper connection and keeps the conversation going strong.
Okay, tip number 3, react naturally.
It might sound simple, but reacting naturally when someone shares something with you makes a huge difference.
Definitely, if you just say uh-huh and don't react in a genuine way, it'll feel like you're not really paying attention. Reacting is a way to show that you're engaged.
So for example, if someone tells you about an exciting event, you might say, "No way, that sounds amazing," or "Wow, that's crazy."
Exactly. And reacting in a way that matches the tone of the conversation is also really important. If they're excited, you should sound excited. If they're serious, keep your tone respectful and calm.
And if you need a moment to think, don't rush to respond. It's okay to pause for a second and then say something thoughtful.
Right, it's better to take your time and react properly than just blurt out something that doesn't make sense. Want to test it in a role play, Aiden, to show how it works in real life?
I saw the new Spider-Man movie yesterday.
No way, I've heard it's amazing. Was it as good as they say?
Definitely. The special effects were mind-blowing.
Oh wow, I need to watch it. What was your favorite scene?
The final battle scene, it was so intense.
See how I reacted with excitement? No way! I've heard it's amazing shows I was engaged and interested.
Exactly. By reacting naturally, you keep the energy up in the conversation, and it feels less like an interview and more like a real conversation. Tip number 4 is all about using go-to phrases.
These are phrases that you can always fall back on when you're not sure what to say next. They're simple, but they're conversation savers.
For example, you can say, "Tell me more," to invite someone to elaborate. Or, if you're curious about someone's feelings, you could ask, "How did that make you feel?"
Another one that's super helpful is, "What happened next?" This phrase keeps the conversation going when someone is telling you a story.
And don't forget, if you need more time to think, "Can you explain that a bit more?" is always a good choice. These phrases can make chats so much easier. How about a role play to practice them in action, Chloe? Let's do this.
I went to New York City last summer.
That sounds awesome. What did you do there?
I explored Central Park and went to some cool museums.
Museums, huh? Which one was your favorite?
I loved the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It was huge.
See how I used "which one was your favorite"? It's a simple go-to phrase that helped keep the conversation going.
Exactly. These phrases help you stay engaged and avoid those awkward pauses. Tip number 5, ask for clarification.
If something isn't clear, don't hesitate to ask for more information. It's better to ask than to stay confused.
Right. And asking for clarification doesn't just help you understand better. It also shows the other person that you're really listening and interested in what they're saying.
Some good phrases to use are, "What do you mean by that?" Or, "Can you explain that a bit more?"
And if you're still not sure, you can say, "I'm not sure I understand. Could you go over that again?" Let's bring it to life with a little role play. Aiden, want to start us off?
In Barcelona, we went to a restaurant and ordered some traditional food.
What kind of food? I'm curious.
It's called paella. It's a Spanish dish with rice and seafood.
Oh, I've never heard of that. What does it taste like?
It's really savory, with a bit of a smoky flavor.
In the role play, I asked for clarification by saying, "What does it taste like?" And I've never heard of that. It's a great way to keep the conversation going and get more information.
Exactly. And it makes the conversation more interesting, too.
Before we wrap up, Emma's here to help us review some of the phrases we can use to keep conversations going and give you some extra tips on how to use them in real conversations.
That's right. So whether you're just starting out or looking to level up your conversation game, Emma's got the perfect recap for you.
Let's hand it over to Emma.
Hey, it's Emma here. Now we'll review some of the key phrases and tips to help you continue conversations naturally in English. These phrases can keep your discussions going, engage more deeply, and sound more fluent when you talk. Let's break them down and see how you can use them in your everyday conversations. That's interesting. Tell me more. How to use it. This is a great phrase when you want to show interest in what the other person is saying and encourage them to expand on their thoughts. Instead of letting the conversation pause, use this to invite more details. Example:
I've been learning how to cook Italian food recently.
That's interesting. Tell me more. What have you learned so far? Really? What happened next? How to use it. This phrase works perfectly when someone is telling a story or sharing something personal. It shows that you're curious and want to hear more of their experience. Example:
I bumped into an old friend yesterday while I was out shopping.
Really? What happened next? I know the feeling. How to use it. This phrase is great for showing empathy when someone expresses something they've experienced. Using "I know the feeling" can create a sense of shared understanding and make the conversation more relatable. Example:
I've been feeling overwhelmed with work lately.
I know the feeling. It's been a crazy month for me too. That's a good question. I've never thought about it like that. How to use it. This phrase is perfect when someone asks a thoughtful question or brings up a topic you haven't considered before. It shows openness and keeps the dialogue flowing. Example:
Do you think technology is making us less social?
That's a good question. I've never thought about it like that. But I think it has pros and cons. What's your opinion on that? How to use it. This is a great way to invite the other person to share their perspective on a topic. It keeps the conversation balanced and gives both sides a chance to contribute. Example:
I think social media is starting to affect our attention spans.
What's your opinion on that? That sounds fun. What was your favorite part? How to use it. Use this phrase when someone shares an enjoyable experience with you. It shows enthusiasm and invites them to dive deeper into the details, keeping the conversation engaging. Example:
I went to a music festival last weekend.
That sounds fun. What was your favorite part?
Well, that's it for today's episode. We've covered some awesome tips and phrases to help you keep your conversations going in English. Remember, it's not just about speaking, it's about staying engaged and curious.
Exactly. Keep practicing those skills, and before you know it, you'll be flowing in conversations without missing a beat. Don't be afraid to use these phrases in your daily chats, whether you're at work, hanging out with friends, or just meeting someone new.
And hey, don't worry if you don't get it perfect every time. The goal is to keep the conversation going, and that's what really matters.
Absolutely. So go out there and try using some of these phrases next time you're chatting in English. You've got this.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We hope you feel more confident continuing your conversations in English. Catch you in the next episode.
Until then, keep practicing and keep the conversations alive. See you next time.
Your English is shining brighter by the minute. Hit that next video to keep leveling up your skills. Or dive into our other episodes for more secrets to talk like a pro. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to join the Groovy English crew.